Again to talk about health. And today's subject, as you know, is sugar addiction and what we can do about that. If you don't already know me, I'm Amanda Marie Mullins, and I am an artist and musician who has had a long journey to health, and I am really into helping people learn more about what they can do on their journeys and how to get to your optimum health without hurting yourself, doing something like crash dieting or something. We don't want to do any of that. So really good to be here today. It is very hot today. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this. And of course, as always, I'm going to be looking at my screen a bit because I've collected some information on the internet about actually I found a great site called, sorry about the movement there, Sugar Science, UCSF.edu. And first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about why sugar is addictive, which the main reason why table sugar is addictive, you know, the white sugar, powdered sugar, even raw sugar is addictive, is because you're starting with, I don't know if you know how big a sugar beet is, but it's about this big. It's really big. And sugar cane, of course, is long and fibrous, and to chew your way through an entire stalk of sugar cane is not something that anyone does. You know, I mean, you chew on it a little bit and suck some of the sweetness out, and then with the sugar beet, it would be hard for you to eat your way through two of those or even one of those. It's a lot of fiber and a lot of stuff there. So when you refine sugar, you're basically condensing this giant thing into a pure hit of sugar, which what happens when we eat that is it hits our pleasure centers. It is, they say it's as addictive as something like cocaine because it's, you know, hitting those pleasure centers. And that's why, like, this magic combination that's in junk food of sugar, salt, and fat hits those pleasure centers. And once you start eating stuff like that, it's really easy to get into the habit of eating it all the time, and you become addicted to it. You become addicted to the rush it gives you, and then you have the crash and the rush and the crash, and it's kind of a cycle. And I've actually, it's so great that Margie actually wanted me to talk about sugar addiction, and it's such a great thing. I've been talking about it a lot with a friend at work, and I am definitely guilty of sugar addiction. It's a process, you know. It's processed sugar. No, it's a process. So, you know, in fact, I was talking to my friend today about some of the stuff that I had in my cupboard, and I was reading the ingredients, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is the kind of thing that I definitely want to out today, because it'll help you. Okay, so that's why sugar's addictive. That's the main reason why. And something that we can do, that we can control, or that help us be more in control of what we're eating, is to read the labels. And in the Sugar Science site, which I will put in the bottom before, I know Trinity said, can you please, you know, let us know what you're talking about in the description box, which I definitely will. I actually have all the information and the links set aside in another document, which I will put in the description box underneath in a comment, so that you guys can sift through the information easier, and you'll have access to this site, which is really interesting, this article. So in this article, Hidden in Plain Sight, it's talking about reading the labels. So this one says added sugar is hiding in 74% of packaged foods. So this is the thing. Packaged foods are pretty much the problem. Anything refined is pretty much the problem. You know, there are some people who don't even want to engage, or they're on special diets, not even engage in like fruit sugars and stuff. I'm definitely not going to advocate or that, because I think, you know, it's fine if, you know, I mean, if you're under the care of a doctor and they say, you know, don't be eating too much fruit or whatever, that's fine. But my main focus about what I want to talk about today is directly around refined sugars in packaged foods. So here is a little cute guy I got at the store. It's called Nature's Grove, and it's packaged, it's a granola, and it's packaged so beautifully, it looks so healthy. And I read the ingredients, which are, the first ingredient is rolled oats, but the second ingredient is milled cane sugar. And then it goes on to, right after the milled cane sugar is molasses, which is sugar too. And then we go into, let's see, there's a few more ingredients, cinnamon, and then it goes into fruit juice concentrate, which is sugar, and honey, which is sugar, and then they just go ahead and put some more sugar in the end. So that's like 5 times, why? That's a lot, that's crazy, what the hell? Okay. And then there's this, okay, no preservatives. That might be true. There might not be preservatives, but there sure is a lot of high fructose corn syrup in here. And then there's also, besides just the high fructose corn syrup, there's also corn syrup in case we didn't get enough in the first time. Okay, so this is the thing. These things, they'll package things that are like healthy. They're like, oh, it has this, it has that. But really look at the labels. That's the main thing. It doesn't really take long to see if something's a giant disaster of sugar. So in this particular article also, it talks about, or is this a different one? Let me see. I have a couple of different ones here. I think, okay, so this has a list of all, a whole bunch of different names for sugar in case, you know, because it's not going to always just say sugar. They have lots of different kinds of sugar, lots of ways of putting it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and read this list really quickly. Agave Nectar, which I do use from time to time, even in my recipes, which most of my recipes it's optional. You don't even have to use it if you're really trying to cut out sugar. Barbados sugar, barley malt syrup, beet sugar, brown sugar, buttered syrup. Doesn't that sound good? Cane juice crystals, cane sugar caramel, carob syrup, castor sugar, coconut palm sugar, confectioner sugar, coconut sugar, corn sweetener, corn syrup solids. Now we're starting to get into some of the stuff where you might not, it's a little bit more ambiguous. You're like, oh, what is that? So, so corn syrup solids, that's going to be a sugar. I'm going to move down into the list and stuff that really doesn't necessarily sound like sugar to the average person reading a label. So we're looking at dextrin, dextrose, fructose, glucose solids. They also put HFCS for high fructose corn syrup as well to try to mask that. Maltodextrin, maltol, maltose, mannose, muscovado. Oh, that's a nice name, isn't it? Okay, what else do we have here? Saccharose, sucrose, sorghum syrup, which I haven't actually heard that one before. And I haven't heard treacle before either. Anyone heard of treacle? If you have, leave me a comment, because I've never heard of treacle before. But it is a sugar as well. So this list is in this article, which I will, like I said, I'll include below. So that's one thing that we can do, is we can really look at the labels. And, you know, honestly, the biggest problem that I see is that it is added in so many things, and something else you can do is you can limit how much packaged stuff you bring into your life. You know, there's another thing I saw in, I typed in, how can I break my sugar addiction? Because this is the thing, really. If you want to quit sugar, if you really are concerned about keeping it out of your life, or you really want to try to eliminate it altogether, you know, there are ways to do it. I saw, let's see, this particular article I do this every time. There's going to be a time where I think I lost one of the things I was looking at here. What I'll do is I'll look for it again, but it's a way to kind of break your sugar addiction. Kind of I don't even know. Maybe they're doing it a little too harsh, because the thing is if you just quit it, you're going to get really irritable at first, and that might be the way to go for some people. And for some people, you may want to baby step it back. I mean, that's kind of what I've tended to do in general with everything, is I kind of experiment with taking a few things out. Like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to buy this again, because it has 5 different times that sugar is in this. So I'm not going to buy this anymore. And I also found, because I really haven't eaten cereal in a long time, and then I found this granola, and I was like, this is so good. I forgot how much I like granola. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe I could find one that doesn't have as much sugar or whatever. And I started looking online, and I'm like, well, why don't I just make one? And so I found a no sugar added banana nut granola, and I know not everybody likes banana. In fact, one of my friends was mentioning, she's like, there's a lot of banana in your stuff, and I don't like the, you know, and so I understand, like, it's not going to be for everybody. But you can, online is a really great resource for finding different recipes and different ways of making things with no sugar or much less sugar, or using a natural sugar like maple syrup, honey, or you know, I'm not going to say agave because it's not, it is somewhat processed, but it is a more low glycemic sugar. So, and also I was also talking to my friend about how he's cut back on salt, and how, like, when you cut back on anything, if you cut back on salt or sugar, if you go out and eat something that's just regular at a restaurant, or just like, you know, I think he was talking about, he had some bruschetta sauce of some kind, and he said it was ridiculously salty. And it's so true. It's so, we are so used to having so much salt and sugar and over flavor of everything, you know. And so there are a lot of resources online where you can, if you just type into Google, and that's what I did. You know, I just typed into Google, no sugar added granola. And you can find lots of stuff. And another suggestion I have is, if you want to make your granola with no sugar, but you want to sweeten it, just add fruit, little bits of date, little bit. I love raisins. Fresh fruit's good. If I love bananas. And that's my favorite thing to put on granola, because ever since I was a kid, we always put bananas on our cereal in my family, and I love it. It's like my favorite fruit to have with like almond milk, and it's good. So, and I see that Marjorie says, thank you for your ideas, Marjorie. I really appreciate it. It's really helpful to have all of you guys, you know, make comments, or, you know, let me know what it is you want to talk about. And I see Vanessa, hi. So wherever you guys are watching from, post, say hey, call out where you're from. If you're hearing me loud and clear and you're enjoying this content, give me a heart, give me some love. But yeah, I mean, there are things that we can do, and this is, you know, this is your life. This is my life. You know, we don't have to you know, buy into this. And, you know, I'm not saying that you can't go out and enjoy something with sugar, or, you know, from time to time or whatever, but it's just like, I know a lot of people want to break this addiction, and there's so many benefits to it as well. In fact, you know, I'm going to go ahead and reference, let's see, there's a movie, there's quite a few movies about sugar, but they're also starting to link sugar directly, not only to diabetes, but to heart disease and cancer. Because refined sugars feed cancer cells, and refined sugars make you gain weight. And the body doesn't know how to metabolize some of these things either. And so it's really causing an issue. And it also causes overeating, because it's kind of fooling your body. You're getting this empty, it's causing a vicious cycle. You're getting these empty calories, and you're getting a hit. and then you're getting a rush, and then you're getting a crash. So there's all this stuff that's kind of happening, and so I know a lot of people want to quit, and that, you know, maybe people don't even know how deep this goes, and how, you know, food companies are making a lot of money doing this, making a lot of money advertising something that, and no offense to you, whoever you are trying to, whatever. The thing is the marketing. You know, these people know how to, and then this, my friend pointed out to me, shit, what was, oh, sorry about the big brown word there. Okay, what was it on? We were looking at something, and it, you know, it said gluten-free, vegan, and, oh yeah, it was on a bottle of mustard. And so, not that mustard, you know, mustard never really has much in it, but it's like everyone's getting on this bandwagon, and then it looks like my mom just commented that it hurts your pancreas too. Lots of things. It's just not, it's your system, it flips your system out. But all these companies are getting, the advertisers are getting on the bandwagon of making, like, oh, it has this nutrient in it, so it's healthy, and it's like, but it has a lot of sugar and it's killing you. They don't want to tell you that. So, we can do this. We don't have to buy this. And I'm going to look for this movie really fast, because I think it's just called That Sugar Story. Let me see if that's what it is. And, you know, Jamie Oliver, who, he was trying to reform the whole entire school lunch program. That Sugar film is the name of it. And it just talks about exactly what I'm talking about how healthy, you know, they're disguising, they're saying these foods are healthy and they're really not. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend that as well. And then if anyone else knows of films that you specifically think were helpful, go ahead and post them in there. Help each other out. This is what this is. This is why I'm doing this. I want us to do this together. I want us to be able to like sift through all this information together and find out what works best for us to keep our lives moving forward in a healthy way. So, yeah, so post anything you might have below. I hope this was helpful. I'm coming to the end of kind of what I've laid out for the day. And so what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to post the information below. And if you guys have any subjects that you would like to talk about, so I want to also let you know that I'm going to switch things up a bit. I was going to do every week, but what I'm going to do is every first 3 Sundays of the month. So the last Sunday of the month, I won't be doing a video, but I'm going to be here next week. So if you want to jump on this, if you have any questions, put them all in there, any ideas, and I'll be back next week. Don't know what the subject's going to be yet. I'm going to look and see if there's any specific comments. At this point, the subject I have in mind, and let me know if this sounds good to you, a friend of mine, we were talking, and they would like to see a video around heart disease and prevention of heart disease. So I think that's probably what's going to be next for next week. So I hope to see you there. Hope this was helpful. And as always, I appreciate everyone being here and all of your suggestions and ideas. They're wonderful. Have a great day.